is up, everybody? Why is Michael dying of laughter?
I don't know.
Hi.
Michael,
We're live, right?
Yeah,
We're live.
Oh, no, wait. Are we doing a podcast?
We are.
Oh, all right. That's not what I was
Jesus.
laughing at.
This isn't my fantasy draft.
Good Lord, ladies and gentlemen. Who's in charge of this thing?
Who is
it's
in charge of
certainly
this episode? I think he's muted.
Yeah, he muted himself. We can't hear you, man.
We can't hear you, bro.
Okay, so like I was saying, it's my movie. I'm not in charge, though. Round table it out. You know,
And then he's like, fuck off, I'm out. Peace.
no. You know what the film is.
I know.
Classic. Eddie Murphy. We can jump right into it. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Starting with you, Michael Colby.
I did not like this movie.
Of course he didn't. Of course he didn't.
Eddie Murphy. The first thing I ever saw from Eddie Murphy was Raw, and that
Classic.
thing is between 30 and 45 minutes of just homophobia. And I was like, oh God, if this is his movie, and this is him in that movie, in the first 5 minutes of him being on the screen, he's calling police officers the hard F-bomb. He calls people that in jail. Yeah. He sucks. I hate Eddie Murphy. Like, I think he's the worst. Because his comedy is completely like whatever. But that's not. But this movie is so much homophobia and racism. Dan Aykroyd in blackface? Are you fucking kidding me? Everything about this movie is miserable.
As the only Canadian on this show, seeing Dan Aykroyd pull out the blackface was very, very well, I didn't feel very Canadian, let's just say that. I was hurt as a Canadian.
Do you think that was his idea, though?
No, of course not.
No.
It was a Coke binge.
It has Eddie
weekend
Murphy's signature
idea.
all over it.
Okay. Because I'm a Dan Aykroyd fan too.
Oh yeah, I'm a Dan Aykroyd fan, and he's good in this. And there's one saving grace for him. I mean, he's as good as Dan Aykroyd gets. He did a thing and he stuck with it. Like, he played that character.
He was very much Dan Aykroyd playing a part. Like, anytime he spoke, I'm like, oh, this dude is putting on like a voice.
Yeah.
And I mean, acting, but ideally you don't see the division between Dan Aykroyd putting a voice on and Dan Aykroyd as the character. Yeah. But I saw it in this. Anytime he had to be like,
there was
this
a division.
Gentleman was the one who accosted me in the street. And I'm like, all right, man. Like,
it's like Dan Aykroyd what he thinks rich.
What he thinks rich people sound like
before he was actually rich.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think there was one saving grace in this movie, and it was Jamie Lee Curtis, because she's great. She played a good character in this. Not in it nearly enough. But
Agreed.
I mean, she was the only like good person in this movie.
Wild
and
at,
the representation of Philadelphia was pretty spot on accurate. Mm-hmm. Philly gets a bad rap. But it's called the city of brotherly love because people in Philly love each other. Like, like if you mess with somebody from Philly, like, you're gonna get fucked up. It's outsiders.
It's the little brother syndrome, like in a family. Like, everybody, like, if you're from Philly, you're allowed to shit on Philly and shit on the people of Philly, but ain't nobody else is allowed to shit on your city or your people. Like,
that's exactly right.
Family right there. Yeah.
And they do a good job of representing that because like Jamie Lee Curtis is walking around and she's talking to everybody. Like, as long as you're not the rich assholes in this movie, everybody got along, and it was shot mostly in Philly, and you could really see that. They did a really good job representing Philly, and even though it was completely gratuitous, you got to see Jamie Lee Curtis topless twice in this, so I mean, I can't complain about that either.
Dylan, can we name this episode the 50 times Michael said Philadelphia in an episode? Because I think he said it. he said Philly like fucking like 20 times in a row at one point.
Well, it was one of the only things that I liked about this movie, so I'm going to talk about
I
it.
wouldn't have known that Philadelphia was something you liked about this by the number of times you said Philadelphia and that, making me say that fucking word like 20 times in a row here.
Well, then just shut up and let somebody else talk for a second.
Ooh. Dan, what do you think, man?
I liked it. I love 80s movies. It's probably going to be one of the highest reels I've given so far. So besides one of my movies, I'm talking about other people's movies. But
Right.
I like, other than like when Dan Aykroyd had the blackface on, like I didn't have a problem with it until he broke character. Until he broke the Jamaican character. And then I was just like, okay, now it's racist.
Michael, now it's racist?
No, Michael! No, Michael!
Didn't have
Hold
a
on,
problem with
whoa,
the
whoa, wait,
blackface. Are
wait,
you
wait,
fucking
Michael,
kidding
no,
me?
Not until he broke character.
Stop.
Not until he broke character.
That's
we
the
can't say
craziest thing
shit
I've
on
ever heard
anything.
anybody say.
We need to get the man himself, who is the only one who can technically comment on this at all, because none of us have any right to comment. Jerrion, how did you feel about Dan Aykroyd in blackface?
Well, I mean, of course we know it's all wrong, but I always try to put myself in the
funny.
mindset of when I watched the movie. And so at that time I was so young, I didn't really understand that as to be as mawkish and racist as it truly is, because I was a kid. I mean, they had it in Looney Tunes cartoons, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, seriously. So at that time I probably just didn't think to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought it was just be a black guy really, really bad. Like, like just a poor representation of a black guy. But I didn't think of it like how I do now. So it's bad. It was cool, but
The weird thing about this is I'm the oldest one on this panel, and I was 4 years old when this movie came out. So nobody here saw this movie until they were like, if you saw it when you were a kid, you didn't understand it. And if you saw it after you were like old enough to understand it, it was late enough that you knew that this shit was not cool. Like there's, nobody here saw this in 1983 and went, oh, this is fine.
I was one. So no.
Yeah, I was 4 years old. So
my parents hadn't met each other.
Yeah,
I wasn't even a gleam in my daddy's eye. Like,
so like this shit sucks.
Okay, well, can you take that part of it out? You didn't find any of it funny though? Like,
the blackface, it has Eddie Murphy written all over it, though. That was Eddie Murphy doing, hey, let's put him in blackface. That really pissed a lot of people off. And that had Eddie Murphy written all over it. So that's why I really didn't have a problem with it. And then he broke character, and then he just have a white guy with the blackface on. And I was like, okay, now I have a problem with it. But other than like a few words, I enjoyed this movie.
I mean, I think it was just, I looked at it too as like a young Eddie Murphy and a young Dan Aykroyd. And it was still like, these guys are classic actors, and this was them young, and it was still really funny. And it also had characters like the Statler and the Waldorf character. Those became Muppets. Those are classic characters, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff from this movie that other movies have taken. That's been what do we like to say on this show? Callbacks.
Yeah, the callback.
Yeah,
it's a callback.
Lots of callbacks to stuff that's referenced in this movie.
We need a graphic of that. At one point, whenever someone says callback, we have to have something just come on, and Chris Harvey going, it's a callback, and then goes off. It's a callback.
You know where we have that type of animation?
What's that?
On Bet That with Dan and Jerrion on Thursdays.
Yeah, we can do that.
We do have that.
Yes, we do. You're welcome.
DL is now like, fuck.
No, he did it. That's why I said it. Like,
oh shit, live. That's
awesome. I have nothing but time for the next week. So,
damn.
But I think in regards to what Michael's saying, I think he has a point that in modern sensibilities, this movie doesn't hold up.
No, it's not being made.
Those 4 words that I bring up when we watch a movie from before 1995 is that it's a product of its time.
Exactly.
And we can condemn it from our current viewpoint while recognizing that at the time, while it was criticized at the time by groups of people,
right,
it was not the damning, like, thing that it currently is. And you can look at it and criticize it for that through our modern lens.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been more comfortable with the movie if it hadn't had that. There were, Jamie Lee Curtis is in a costume that doesn't require anything like that. But I don't think that it necessarily. I mean, her costume is like problematic in the modern lens for different reasons. But like,
I love how you're trying to say politically correct right now.
Why not?
he's like, I'm staying on this line. I am not getting off this line.
Zach's not here today to get worked up, so I have to kind of ride the line as possible. But I'm never as passionate as that guy gets, so I'm just not even going to try and fake it.
He's insane sometimes.
I thought this movie had moments I thought which were really funny, and I'd never seen it. And Zach and I were talking about it earlier today, and he told me that he wishes I had seen it back in the 80s. And I'm like, I get it after watching this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because this movie, when you look up if you ever look up financial comedies, I'm sure Phil has, this movie is always held up as like the crown standard. This and like Working Girl are the two that everybody talks about.
Mm-hmm.
And I can kind of see why it made a mark, because this thing is kind of subversive and like rowdy and
it's
rough around the edges.
It grabbed the culture of what was Wall Street at the time, which is people not giving a fuck, swearing, dropping the hard Fs, making those derogatory comments that created the bro. But at the time, they didn't mean it like, I guess some may have meant it offensively.
That's the only way you can mean that.
This is what I think. I think at the time they were trying to make the movie an emphasis on role reversal of rich versus poor.
Yeah,
and what they were trying to push is like, this is what this movie is about. A funny like, hey, now you're going.
They were taking a satirical look at life.
Yeah.
From the rich and the poor and how stupid Wall Street is. And I fully agree, Wall Street is stupid. Like, Michael, as capitalistic as I am, I wouldn't have a problem if I'm making $1 billion and I'm being taxed and paying my fair share of taxes. I fully believe that is fine. I don't believe that you can be making $150 billion and paying $2 in taxes. I don't believe in that. I believe in fair paying of taxes. Everybody should be pulling their own weight. Like that's the type of Canadian capitalist I am. I want that clear. Canadian capitalists do that. We try to pay our fair share. But you Americans make it a little hard. But like that was what in the 80s, that's what Wall Street was. It was full of bros that did coke, that dropped hard Fs, didn't give a fuck about anybody's PC because it's bro culture. It's all the purest toxic masculinity because we're all trying to show off. And so we have to just go harder. And if that cool bro is dropping the hard F, then I have to drop the hard F because I want to be cool and be better than him. And then you have the guys in coming from the poor, Eddie Murphy's character coming from the believable, and I'm using air quotes here, like urban poorness, where they are also living in a bro toxicity as well, where they have to show off. So they're dropping the hard Fs as well, because there's this whole stigma at the time that if you're gay, you're weak. You're not actually this badass superhero. Because like, excuse me, I think anybody who grew up in the 80s that has come out of the closet during the 80s and was like proud, like, fuck, you guys are badasses. Like, that's where I stand on that, because like they were facing movies like this. You have like celebrities like just throwing that out and not giving a fuck. Like this movie, I know it is a product of its time. It's taking a satirical look at the stupidity. Like we can take our modern lens and look at it. It was trying to be satirical in the lens of what the rich and the poor is and the culture that was going on there, and that it's bad. But unfortunately, because it's popularity, more people were like, well, if all of Wall Street is like this in this movie, and they didn't see the satirical look at it. But hey, not everybody can be a cultured Renaissance man like me.
Yeah, there's actually, Phil, I don't know why you're sucking up to me today, but I appreciate it.
It's because you've been hating on me in the group so much for not showing up. So I thought, hey, you know what? I'll be nice to Michael. This is a good movie to actually hate on because it's not the best movie out there. So might as well suck up to Michael as much as possible before I make him watch my movies, which you thoroughly hate.
Oh, I'm not going to take it easy on.
I know you're not. I know you're not.
but yeah,
that episode is going to be such a letdown after all this build up. I swear to God.
I'm not even going to show up. I'm just going to be like, no.
It's been
it's
6
gonna be-
months of build up, and we're gonna get just kind of like this wet noodle of an episode where it's like, I don't like Boondock Saints.
You know what? We should just.
Oh
keep
no, I have
pushing it.
I
Just
have
keep
plenty to
pushing it.
say about it. Don't
Well,
even
see,
worry about it.
what we're going to be saying is what the problem I had with Boondock Saints is I didn't see any licenses. Did you ever see them show their license? That's my problem with it. And you know what? I just can't watch it in this type of society. So a 4
Yeah, no, it's not.
They
good.
kill a cat as a joke in that movie.
Jesus
That's all I'm
fuck.
gonna say. Not funny.
Yeah,
But anyway,
It's
getting back
hilarious.
to Trading Places, it did remind me the first time you see Eddie Murphy. It did remind me when we were down in put it up on the counter, Philly, the one time to go see a concert. A group of friends of mine were walking towards the venue, and a guy came up to us with no legs on a skateboard, and he said to us, he goes, "Hey man, I remember you. You were here last week, and you felt bad for me because I have no legs, so you gave me $5."
Smartest motherfucker alive. I
We
love it.
did, in fact, feel bad because this man had no legs. We did, in fact, give him $5, and we were there a week before, but none of us remembered this man. So we definitely didn't give him $5 the week before. So that was
That is, I have to
realistic.
give my fucking hat off to that motherfucker because that's a genius fucking way. Because everybody's gonna have to give $5 because if you forget and you say, "Well, you're a dick," because you forgot a guy without legs,
Yeah.
so you have to.
You
Yeah,
would think
no.
you would remember a guy without legs though if you ran
Yeah.
into one.
Yeah. We
Especially when
definitely
you're-
to give him
did,
money
and we've
because I'm gonna hunt
we've
that
run
dude
into
down.
him since then. But that was the first time that we ran into that guy. But I do know, like, there's one guy down there who
Reminds me of Hollywood.
he sold flowers underneath the one bridge, and then he actually built it up. Like, we saw him build this flower selling business up so that he ended up with a cell phone. He had 3 other homeless people working for him selling
I
the
love
flowers
it.
for him. Yeah, like
Nice.
there's a lot of ingenuity in homeless people because
Yeah.
you sort of have to be. But yeah, I mean, that guy ended up I don't know what happened to him. I haven't seen him in years, but I mean, there's still people selling flowers under that same bridge.
He probably has a couple more franchises out there. You
That
know,
I'm
he
thinking he
has an
probably
apartment.
like,
You know,
he
like that's a
Like,
capitalist you're okay
storage
with,
unit.
but me being a capitalist is wrong. What the fuck?
You think that's his only bridge, man? He's expanded, man. He got bridges all over
Right.
the city, baby.
yeah.
There's bridges everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, there really is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
hobo hotels and shit. Man's gonna be rolling in the hobo money.
Like he's gonna be rolling the $5 like all day, every day. Doesn't matter what
That
day
was
it
a
is. You got
different guy
$5.
from the $5 guy. I'm sure the $5 guy went home to his apartment after, skimming $5 off of a couple hundred people a day or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that has not that much to do with the movie, except for the fact that Eddie Murphy pretends that he's a legless, blind veteran. Which, honestly, I did not laugh once while I was watching this movie. Can somebody tell me a funny part of this movie? Because
Michael, you're
I
dead
got
inside,
none.
Okay, you're dead inside. That's
You're
why
dead.
you're dead.
Your heart
inside.
is black, son.
Yeah. I'm just playing, man. I don't know, man. I just like Eddie Murphy, man. I like Eddie Murphy. I like Dan Aykroyd. I thought it was just a funny movie. Again, it's how you look at it. I really do. I really think.
Yeah,
it's
and
how
Jerry,
watch
and
this
you.
movie.
Jerry, and you know that I've started watching movies, with a more open mind.
Right.
But
right.
when literally everything, like, as someone, I grew up in the 90s. I mean, I was born in 79. And I grew up through the 80s, sort of came into my sexuality in the early 90s. And even then it was rough. So seeing somebody like Eddie Murphy, this huge star, just dropping F-bomb after F-bomb and, just belittling gay people, like it hurts personally.
Okay,
Like,
well, look at it like this. Do you think that perhaps he was just trying to compete with other comedians at the time that were also saying this?
I
And
mean,
these
he
people that
might
had
have been,
to get into
but
the game.
he might have been, but like also he's talented enough that
True.
he could have rose above that shit and done something, good for people instead of just sinking down to the level of people who are less talented than he is.
True, I agree. But you said it was 84, right? This came out
83. This came
83.
out.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me check. Speaking as the only black dude. Okay, yeah, I think I'm the only one. Okay, so yeah. Black dude, 1984, trying to be a movie star, and they tell him, like, hey, I need you to write off all these excuse me, I did not mean to say it, sorry. All these F-bombs and say this and that, or hey, we're gonna go get somebody else for the movie.
I get that, but also, I mean, again, his stand-up comedy was written by him, and it was the same thing.
True. But I'm just saying he was not the only one or the first.
Oh no,
comedy. Like that was just the style of comedy that was
there.
That was there at the time. Like it was very homophobic. Like it really was. And if you go back and look at it, like a lot of it was
sucked then just as much as it sucked
like
now.
You think about it, like they really didn't have a lot of material.
They punched down a lot. Well, to be fair, they also didn't have any billionaires to go after because, like, they weren't very famous billionaires. They were only millionaires, and it's like, who wants to go after a millionaire? It's not worth it.
True.
Well, we were still in the 80s where it was okay to like revere. Well, okay, it's still okay today in a lot of people, but to revere millionaires, like this kind of glorifies trading because it shows them at the end manipulating the market in order to make their own fortune, which sure. I mean, this was also the time of like Wall Street, like Greed is Good. Like that's all these movies were focused around finance.
Movie I like.
Mm-hmm.
See, Michael, that's a movie that I like. Wall Street. That's Wall Street's a great movie.
His character definitely was out of lifestyles, like some Robin Leach type lifestyles of the rich and famous of that era in the 80s.
Yeah.
Sorry, I did not mean to cut you off, Phil. If I did, I really didn't.
No, it's fine. I'm used to it. Michael likes to cut me off.
I do mean to cut Phil off.
I wasn't.
Jerrion, we know you have like a 3-second delay. It's fine. Yeah.
if we're
no,
not today. You don't.
A couple seconds.
Not today. You don't.
Dylan
if we're talking strictly movie structure, I could have used a little bit more of Eddie Murphy getting acclimated to being rich, because he kind of goes from being a slob. He has that one party scene, and then during that party, he's like, "Oh no, this is my nice stuff. Everybody get out of my house. Now I'm a sophisticated rich person." Like that's all we have as far as character growth goes.
Right.
In a strictly like if we're talking strictly movie structure, like that's bad writing. That's give me a little bit more character development on Eddie Murphy, rather than just deciding during one scene that he likes being rich and that he's just gonna kick all of his old friends out of his house. Like that.
Do you agree as a writer? What do you think, man?
Ooh.
Me?
Well, you're the only writer.
Here, bro.
My sound cut off when you addressed.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
Okay.
I wondered what just to his point. Do you agree or disagree?
I could have used more time of him getting used to it, but the movie's already almost 2 hours long. And I'm not sure what I would have replaced to fit that in. Maybe just a little less meandering. Like this is kind of in the era of movies where these establishing shots at the beginning and the opening credits are like 5 minutes long.
The opening credits are so long.
And it's just a bunch of people like sleeping in the garbage. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's Philly. That's fine. Whatever. So I'm not sure what I would have replaced to make room for that.
I know what I would.
4 minutes and 30 seconds from the beginning.
The amount that these guys are talking about pork bellies and frozen orange juice.
Yeah.
Like it's so boring. Like they're talking about this real ass commodities broker shit. And it's like, I don't care. You're trying to give me a comedy about a rich guy and a poor guy being swapped. I don't need to know the ins and outs of commodities training. And then when they do try to explain it to Eddie Murphy, they're talking to him like he's a fucking 5-year-old. He's an adult man who's survived that long on the streets. Like, give the man some credit. But no, because he's a Negro, which they say in the movie a lot.
Yeah, this guy age restricted twice.
I mean, they say that, and they go further than that too, which I'm not definitely not going to do.
I'm wondering, Michael, how far are you going to push that barrier?
That's as far as I'm going to push it. But they say it so much in this movie, and it's a bunch of old rich white guys saying it, and it sucks as much as, the homophobic shit. I can't not watch this movie through the lens of, myself as a person and the times that we're living in. Like, I'll give, a couple of offhanded things, that can get a
98%
early
of
90s,
all the stuff
80s.
were taken out, the racist and the homophobic stuff taken out, and I was like only like maybe 3% in that movie. Like, there was maybe 2 parts in each act. You would have been more okay with it?
Yeah, I mean, again, I've said it before, like, when the villains of the movie are saying that shit, that's fine. Establish them as villains. But when Eddie Murphy is saying it, and, I don't know that Dan Aykroyd says anything, but, like, Eddie Murphy is using homophobic shit, and, like, I don't want to root for these people who are saying this terrible shit. I don't want to root for Dan Aykroyd in blackface. I don't want to root for this shit. Yeah. But that's who you're giving me to root for in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got a question for Phil as the stock guy, as the investor guy. No, sincere question.
Yeah.
How accurate is the commodities trading in this?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't fuck with commodities.
You don't do commodities?
No.
Okay.
I do basic, like, investing is supposed to be boring.
Okay.
You buy, like, you bought Disney, or you apparently bought Disney, which is a smart play. Hey, that's small $10. If you do $10 a week into Disney, you'll have fucking money. Like, obviously, there's better. I can
sell out my fellow working men by buying a place so I can rent that property to them.
There you go. Start small. Start small. Just
Dylan, I don't want to put you up against the wall when the revolution comes too.
I'll be dead by then of my own hand. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, just sign over your assets to me, though, please.
Okay.
Sign over.
I think that goes. I can do that across the border. Right?
Yeah, that's cool. Don't worry. I'll create a company if I have to. You can. I'll buy your life.
Beaver pelt.
There we go. Yeah, exchange the beaver pelts, please. I like them. They're gonna keep me warm. Yeah.
Beaver pelt.
This movie is something special.
Yeah. So
I mean, Michael said a lot about it. I mean,
yeah,
I really. He gave me a whole nother way to look at it. And I completely agree. Like, he can't look at it any other way than the way he looks at it. That's cool. I understand.
And Michael's not the demographic for this movie. It was it was fans of Eddie Murphy who are used to Eddie Murphy using such language, and being that's what they're expecting of Eddie Murphy. So if you're not a fan of Eddie Murphy, you're not going to enjoy this movie. Like how Chris loves Mark Wahlberg so much, and I can take it or leave it. But like, he's always gonna love Mark Wahlberg movies where I'm gonna be like, no, they're not that great. They're passable, if anything. It's Mark Wahlberg just trying to act. But it's Eddie Murphy for fans of Eddie Murphy's comedy doing it, and obviously Michael and I are far outside that era of his comedy. Michael more than me.
I just gotta say, it's no Daddy Daycare.
No.
Yeah,
how the mighty have fallen.
That's a funny movie too. That is a funny movie.
Also,
but at least you see his growth. He didn't like stay in this box that he's in. I mean, you definitely see huge growth with Eddie Murphy throughout. Every movie.
Eddie, like, I think he has come out as like apologetic for that shit.
I think that era.
I seem to remember him getting caught with like
Someone.
Yeah, with like some sort of prostitute that whatever, and that sort of I don't exactly remember, but when it happened, I do remember them using a lot of like transvestite type language, which I don't know exactly what was going on with that person, so I don't want to like talk about that particular thing. But I think after that happened, he was apologetic for a lot of the shit that he like said in his comedy. But like, I don't know, man. This movie, like you said, it was almost 2 hours, and it sort of has it's very meandering. It's not really going anywhere, and then all of a sudden, we switch places, and that's fine. And then we get Dan Aykroyd coming into a big party, dressed as just the filthiest Santa you've ever seen. Like, he would not have been allowed into this party dressed like he is. Was there a scene where he got that Santa suit? Did he steal that from someone, or? Because I totally missed him getting that. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't know why he's filthy. I don't know why he's in that, except for quote unquote comedy. And then we're on a train doing stuff. Like, there's so much stuff that's happening in this movie, but nothing gets explained. And then, there's a gorilla being, which, like, as soon as you see this gorilla, that some shit's going to happen with this gorilla. And fucking one of his handlers, I thought was David Johansen, but it ended up being fucking Al Franken. So there was another disappointment.
Dylan with the Daily Double.
I have his book on my fucking bookshelf over here.
Oh.
Whose book? David Johansen's book?
Al Franken's.
Oh, okay.
Found it at the thrift store. Why not? Yeah,
well, I mean,
Senator of the United States talking
Al Franken's
about a dude falling asleep with a gorilla.
Al Franken's fine, but he wasn't in the New York Dolls. So
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
That's a reference for just me. Thank you very much.
10 years from now, Michael's going to be listening back to this episode being like, oh, yes, that joke. Oh, I'm so witty. I'm so comical.
Michael, you son of a bitch.
What are you talking about 10 years from now? I listen to our episodes when they come out, and I go, man, I'm the only funny one on this
I'm talking
show.
about in 10 years, you're going to still be doing that, you dumb.
Oh, absolutely. I think I'm great.
Thank you for ruining my joke. Congratulations. Thank you.
It kind of it does ruin it when you have to explain the joke to the person you're telling it to.
Yeah. Sarcasm apparently is lost on Michael.
It doesn't work in an audio medium.
Nah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So I'm going to go through. Zach actually left his opinion in the group chat.
Yes.
And I'm sure I would be getting a hard time from him if I didn't read it out loud. So this is Zach's just final words.
Hold on. Wait.
All right. Cool.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, I didn't know if it was a backing track or not. Okay. Zach says, I am vexed by this movie, which is weird, because if you would have asked me a week ago, I would have said it was a pretty solid Murphy Aykroyd Curtis flick. Nope. Weirdly dated and kind of pointless. So angry at the first 30-ish minutes, but damn did I laugh hard a few times. Also, how does the trading work? And then I'll go into his reels at the end when we do reels. But yeah, I feel like this is kind of aligned, at least with me, where it's like, this movie is, I see why people liked it at the time, and as time has gone on, I'm like, maybe this is just benefiting from like inertia a little bit, where people liked it so much in the early days that the people who made the opinions have kind of passed it on.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a nostalgia wheel going on for this movie. Like, people watched it when it first came out, like in theaters, and when it came out on like VHS, we're like, oh my god, this is so funny, because it was near the height of Eddie Murphy-ness, and Dan Aykroyd, their SNL was huge, they're popping off, so they're loving it, and then they remember their whole life going, oh, that's so great, and then they come back to it and they realize it's not that great anymore, but it's too late because they've passed on the love to another generation, so the hate cycle can continue.
I did see
I love
a
the motion picture voice.
I did
You're
see
welcome.
a giant framed photo of Ronald Reagan on somebody's desk, and I threw up.
Yeah.
Reaganomics, baby, yeah.
Reagan.
Yeah. Let's not get into that, but like it's just
Wait, let's not.
so
It's
It's
Phil's
so
and Michael's
weird.
new podcast, Reaganomics.
the like worship of money in this movie. Like, if you're not don't roll your eyes at that. That is what this movie is about. Like, if you're rich, you're great, and if you're poor, you're bullshit.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty much.
That's kind of how it is now, though.
Yeah,
Michael-
that's how it is now. And
Michael, I
it
just want to
sucks
explain
now.
something. The more money you have, the more freedom you can buy, meaning you can do more things with your life and enjoy life. That's what money brings you. It brings you freedom. You have to look at money as bringing you freedom, buying back your time, so you get to do and enjoy things, that you don't have to work with asshole clients. You can do whatever the fuck you want, like go to
Yeah.
Venice and become cultured.
Yeah, but now fewer people have enough money to do that because they're hoarding all of it. Not everybody can be a
like you guys
millionaire
had
anymore.
printed like $7 trillion just a couple of months ago. Money
Yeah,
isn't
and
being
how
hoarded.
much
It's
of that are we going to see? Fucking
well, fucking
zero
go and
of
make
it.
a job. Start a side hustle like so many people have over COVID.
You should start a podcast.
So Michael,
Got him.
this movie script was started writing in the early 1980s, which coincided with that particular election.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm not shocked whatsoever about this.
Oh no, I'm not shocked about any of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the 80s was.
mean,
I
a little
don't
bit, maybe.
understand the nostalgia for this time period because
It was
it's
the pants.
horrible.
Pants.
It was the
Oh,
pants.
Michael, you're teetering on a fine line talking about the 80s, buddy.
The
Watch it.
80s, like, if you were a kid in the 80s had some cool ass kid shit.
I was a kid
But
in the
to
80s.
be an adult in the 90s, like real life stuff from the 80s sucked. Like it was all terrible. It was all racism, homophobia, and greed. Like that's all the 80s was for adults. The 80s had great kid shit. The cartoons, the toys, fucking all of it's awesome. But the adult stuff from the 80s, you can keep it, and
I believe that.
you're gonna have to keep. Well, you are keeping it because you're not giving it to your kids if you were an adult in the 80s.
So a little bit of trivia, guys. This originally was developed for Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder.
Makes more sense. Makes
Yep.
a lot more
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
right.
it maybe the movie was done maybe 5 years too late.
Yeah.
Like you back it
Yeah.
up, you put those two in there, and I mean, of course, Michael's still having the same conversation, but it's
You may
Yeah,
have laughed one or two more times.
yeah.
Right.
I like Richard Pryor's stand-up, but I don't like his movies. But he's one of those guys. I
Yeah.
have a lot of stand-up
And-
comedians that I like their stand-up,
No,
but not
no,
their
his
movies.
stand-up is far
Mhm.
better than the
Oh,
movie.
Yeah,
yeah.
oh yeah.
Way
Yeah,
better.
I'll go with
Definitely.
that. Definitely. Well, I mean, hey, I don't know if y'all want to continue talking about this or not. We can get into reels. I'm good.
Yeah, I think we can go into
I don't know that
reels.
I have a whole lot else to say about this.
Yeah, I think we covered all the bases, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I want to reiterate, I like Jamie Lee Curtis in this.
Yes, I want to
Her in
double
everything. I think
down that
she's just
We
in
all agreed on-
general good in everything. Yeah.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is always great. Like she's
Yeah.
hilarious. She plays like a strong character. When she explains, what she's doing,
Mhm.
it's like sex positive. It's positive for sex workers. She's like, I have a plan. I know what I'm doing. I have a bunch of money I know exactly how my life is going. And I'm a sex worker now, but that's for 3 more years. And awesome.
Yeah.
She's a character in this movie. And I don't know why nobody else was written as anything but these stereotypes. Like she could have very easily been written as
A dumb sex worker.
The quote unquote hooker with the heart of gold trope, but she wasn't.
Classic.
She was written as a strong.
She was a character. She was a character. Period. A full character and not a stereotype like the others.
Yeah, and she was vital to the plan that they pulled off to, to get the money and, make it down to where the Virgin Islands or whatever. So yeah, she was the only good actual character.
Right. Well, let's get into reels in.
Yeah.
I'll go first. Screw it. No one else talking. I'll go first. I did like it because it's an edit. I like it. It's Eddie Murphy. I love Eddie Murphy. I love his stand-up. I love anything Eddie Murphy touches, except for his newer stuff because it's kind of family stuff. But anyways, it's I like the movie other than a couple of parts where you're kind of squeamish. It's okay. So I gave it an 8 on the reels, and you could definitely see two rich old men in the 80s betting $1 on something like this and just completely fucking up two people's lives. You could definitely see that. And
you can see that now.
Yeah, it probably happens now. But who knows? But yeah, I'm going to give it a solid 8. I loved it. It's a good movie. Other than a few parts, it's a good movie.
All right. I'll go. Why not? First off, I'm going to give Zach's opinion because he gave a real count. He said 5. Said he remembered it more fondly than he did watching it. Yeah. And I match up on him with this. I'm giving it a 5. There were parts I thought was funny. And in general, honestly, I thought you could probably remake this nowadays and with some updates. And it would still be pretty relevant as far as that goes. Maybe make it into I'm always hesitant to recommend this course of action, but do some sort of social media twist where you have to compete to get views or something. I don't know. Something like that. There's that movie where you have to do increasingly crazy dares for your YouTube channel or something. Nerf, that's one of them. Nerf,
like 80 of them.
Guns Akimbo is one.
Oh, that movie though is great. Guns Akimbo is fucking amazing.
Guns Akimbo's fine. This movie gets a 5. Just for the reasons I listed. Yeah, that's all I got.
I'm giving this movie a 3. I love Eddie Murphy, but this, if I had seen it back when I was younger, I was during the height of racism in the world, like the 90s and 80s, pretty much, where it's pretty much higher now. I don't know what's going on, but the nostalgia factor is probably what people remember more about this movie, because this movie is just the only reason it's getting a 3 is because the 3 looks like boobs and you get to see Jamie Lee Curtis. That's the only reason. That's the only reason.
So does an 8, Phil.
What?
So does an 8, Phil.
Yeah, but no, an 8 is too many boobs. I like the top down look. Thank you very much. That's all I got. That's the only reason I'm giving it 3, because that's it. Go ahead, Mike.
This is a family show.
No, it's not.
Oh, we're
not
a
when
family.
I'm on. Oh yeah, we are a family, so it's true.
No.
Oh my god, because it looks like boobs. I'm giving this also a 3 because it's a terrible movie. It's Jamie Lee Curtis is if it was up to me, I would give this as if it was somebody else besides Jamie Lee Curtis, I may have given this a 1. But her in this she's so good. But I do think they could remake this. Put Kevin Hart in it, as the Eddie Murphy role.
I'm sitting right here. Okay, good.
Or put Jerrion Blaze,
Yeah.
a movie star in the remake.
Hey, I need a breakout role too, man.
With Chris Harvey.
Chris Harvey.
Yeah.
Chris Harvey and Jerrion Blaze. Dylan and I are going to write the remake of Trading Places. But yeah, the premise isn't bad, but watching it now with the shit that's in here, I'm also not going to put Chris Harvey in blackface. That would be terrible. But yeah, it's just I'm really trying to do a Jerrion Blaze thing where I watch as, a product of its time type of thing. I just could not do it. There was just too much in this movie and I couldn't stand it. So I'm going to give it a 3. Yeah, that's it.
You should get high before you watch it. That'll put you in that place.
I'll fall asleep, and also I'll probably get angrier at it because it's just too much. I can't.
Yeah.
I literally can't with this movie.
Well, I'm gonna give it a 7. Young Eddie Murphy, I believe, was just one of his breakout roles. I think this kind of gave him a springboard into other movies that he got. So I don't know how much say in this movie that he had with the lines or really anything. I really think they gave him the script and was like, you can do it or we'll find somebody else type thing back then. Because he really wasn't Eddie Murphy yet. You know what I'm saying? He was still on the come up, as we say. So yeah, still giving it a 7. Definitely understand. It probably, I can't remember who said it. Probably the memory of it is more fun than the actual film. Maybe it was Phil that said that. Yeah, that perfect. Exactly what he said. Definitely. So yeah, 7, man.
I definitely have movies like that.
Yeah.
Where the memory of them is way better than rewatching.
Yeah. Great show, guys.
Yeah.
Are we spinning a wheel? Are we doing a wheel, or am I waiting for no reason?
We have 2 options. We can spin the wheel, or we've been putting off John Dies at the End, and we can just do John Dies at the End on Friday.
I already watched John Dies at the End.
All right.
Where's John Dies at the End on?
I think I watched like half of it. It's on Crackle too.
It's on Crackle. Yeah, there's a totally free way to watch it.
All right, so we're going to be watching J-Date on Friday, also known as John Dies at the End.
I thought, like, whoa, what are we doing now?
John Dies at the End, J-Date.
We're putting a profile up on J-Date for Phil Better.
Hey, I welcome it. I welcome it. Probably get better results than what my sister did.
Don't you have to be Jewish to do that?
Yeah, we can fake it. Look at him.
Ow! Well, I don't actually know.
Give you a perm.
Whoa! On that note,
can we just end the show?
Are we being written, as a Eddie Murphy movie in 1983 now?
Yes, that's what we're
doing. We're gonna do goodbyes. That's cool.
Yeah, we got the wrong cast for that.
Yeah, right. All right, cool. I'm going first. My name is Dylan. Find me on some nobody stuff, twitching upstream, talking upstream. Silicon Angels, we got some stuff in the bag. And Real Boys Mondays and Fridays. And No Time to Binge on Wednesdays most of the time. It's a fun show. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Bye.
I am Phil Better, the podcast mogul. I host a live show where I help you grow your podcast into the top 10% of podcasts worldwide and get you monetized every weekday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard on my Facebook profile and in my private Facebook group. Better.
Why don't you do that for us, Phil?
We're already a top 10% podcast, man.
Then get us monetized, man.
I can't. Whenever I bring up monetization, you keep yelling at me, Mike. Okay. Anti-establishment. You find me on Instagram at podcaster Phil Better if you want to learn how to grow your podcast. Thank you very much. I'm out. Capitalist is leaving the building.
Hey, cut him off. He's done. I'm Dan, aka DL Smokes. I gotta get used to the whole name change thing. But Oops Caught Me Smoking on Saturdays at 9 p.m. live, and the real boys, obviously, because I'm here right now, and Bet That with Dan and Jerrion on Thursdays. But tomorrow we have a Mamba special, so come watch us celebrate Kobe Bryant tomorrow, or join us. That's it.
Michael Colby. I got Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex. New episodes start tomorrow. I love this terrible game. No Time to Binge on Wednesdays. There's something else. And then I just finished writing something. It's like a podcast movie that's maybe the most batshit insane thing you'll ever see. So look for that coming soon. And yeah, that's it. Follow me on Twitter at my neighbor MICH1. Bye.
Jerrion Blaze, check me out on the Cloud Chronicles. Check me out on Bet That with Dan and Jerrion on Thursday. Check us out tomorrow for the Mama special, the 824 special. And check me out on the Real Boys, man. We're doing big things. Peace. Thanks for watching.